Okay, are y'all ready?
I'm ready.
3 o'clock. I'll call this meeting to order. We have a quorum. Chip is the only one missing, along with Melissa. We have a visitor. Anton Riker. Is that right? Rieker, because it's German, your E is the second vowel.
That's right.
Anton Rieker is here with us again today. We have minutes from the Board of... Do you have anything to say, Mr. Rieker? Okay. Board of Director meeting minutes from last meeting. If you want to look through them or see whether you have any edits. I proofed them earlier.
I'll make a motion to accept the third.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I'll sign them.
Asbestos inspection is going up a little bit.
All right, so we can move to that and talk about, did you put the asbestos back on here at all?
No.
No. We did approve the asbestos in the last meeting,
Yeah, all good.
and you did have the asbestos inspection on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And did they seem to come up with anything? Okay,
They provide a report or not?
And he
Not yet, I haven't gotten a report yet.
He didn't think that they would,
okay,
because it was remodeled in '09.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't think they would.
okay. Well, so put it back on the agenda when we actually get the report. We'll
Right,
talk
that's
about
kind
it
of what I
then.
figured.
Okay. All right. So building purchase is what we have on the financing for the building purchase is really the reason we call the meeting today. Johnette, you want to tell us what has happened since we met last?
Well, I forwarded the email to everybody
Okay.
where Texan Bank had stated that they, without having the other entity in place, they would not finance.
So the conduit entity that we've talked about in the past, that government capital has offered as an option, and then they would charge the 1.5% or $1,800 financing fee to establish. We had notified TXN Bank that we would not be willing to use the conduit organization, and that our attorney had, and I'm breaching, had provided us the legal advice that we did not need the conduit organization. We could borrow the money directly in the name of the Medina Appraisal District, but TXN Bank has opted not to allow us to do the financing in Medina Appraisal District name without the conduit organization. So we're here to see whether or not we want to select one of the other two banks.
Did we confirm with these that they're not going to come back and say the same thing?
I've talked to two bankers at Castroville State Bank, and they've not given me an answer. I've told them the issue, explained the issue to them, but they've not said whether they're willing to do it or not. I think Johnette has even talked to one of the members of the board there, and I'm not sure that we have an answer.
Well, it seems to me like if there was a way to loan it to us that, I mean, Clarkson would, we're like the best borrowers you can have if it wasn't a matter of law, right?
Well, it's not, the statute is being amended, we think. I'm not sure whether the legislature has decided that they're going to actually adopt these changes or not. There is a Senate bill pending. This is late in the legislative session.
Right, but we have to go off of,
I don't know.
we have to go off of what it is, not what it might be, right?
That's right. And TXN has to go off of what it is, not what it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they said. If that bill passes, they don't have a problem at all.
But it doesn't go into effect, if it passes, it doesn't go into effect till September
Right.
1st.
I'm gonna go get Mike to get him to update real quick, and then
Will
I'll
you look, do you want to take this so he can look it up quickly?
Senate Bill 2073.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Johnette.
What are the, what she's looking up?
This Senate bill, she's looking it up on the legislative calendar to see where it is.
So,
Now, I do believe she has talked to, she'll have to comment on that. I'm not sure how much, or what her conversations with Mary Mangold at
as far as the
Security
conduit,
State.
as far as the conduit goes, we're not doing that just because of personal liability concerns or what?
Yes. We, as members of this board, have to be members of that board and create an entity that would be the borrower for the building, is the way I understand it.
If the other banks definitely say that they all three say we have to do the same thing, which is kind of crazy because the attorney said
Says we don't.
that's not even legal. That's a whisper of illegal, but they're both whispers of legal.
Well-
But if all three are required and it passes, then we can go back and maybe try to refinance it, but that would add more additional cost.
Yeah.
We have had another option, but nothing in writing.
What's the other option?
I have a verbal from our broker that the seller is willing to finance. He'd like to do for a year, but he would match the interest that the bank is offering.
But he didn't say which bank,
Right.
so we don't know what interest rate, and we don't have it in writing.
Right. But he would only do the building, then we'd have to borrow money after September 1st if the bill passes to do the renovation.
But the seller would loan us the money to purchase the building as seller financing.
And he didn't tell you what town or anything would be similar down or anything like that, or didn't get to details?
Didn't really get into, just that he is willing to own or finance if so that we would have that option if we need be. It passed the Senate on April 24th. I don't think they got the House.
Was it a Senate bill or a House bill?
It's, oh wait, hold on.
It's a Senate bill.
The House reported favorably with amendments. So they have, the last status, I was reading it
It was
backwards.
yesterday.
Last status was yesterday, and the House reported favorably without amendments.
But I don't know whether that means
But
they
it-
voted yes or not.
Right, it's not passed, but it looks like possibly it will pass, but that's it. Nothing has actually passed.
That's pretty far along.
Yeah. So if we get seller financing, is the building usable enough to use it, utilize it?
We were
And
gonna
wait-
use it for
try to wait till
hearing.
We were gonna
September.
use it for hearings, and then, I don't know, do you
Do we have
wait
a
till?
cost when we use the other building for hearings or not? Is there a cost to the district?
Well, we were hoping by then we would own the building, so.
No, I mean, didn't you use another annex building or something? Did you have to pay the county anything
No.
for those? Okay.
No, we never had to pay to have the hearings anywhere else.
Well, if it's looking favorable like that, I would say, I mean, we're not gonna pay any discount points to the seller, or origination fees or anything. And so, as long as he doesn't go crazy with the interest rate, then come back and get a year, but come back to Texas and get it financed. And then you could at least start utilizing the building, maybe not to its fullest potential, but there'd be something there. It sounded like we were just gonna, the area on the eastern side is what you're gonna remodel, so if we could start using the far west side and let that sit. I would be in favor of that.
Well, do you want to pick one of the other two lenders today and say, are you willing to do it without the conduit organization? Or do you have Johnette call both of them and say, are you willing to do it without the
Yeah, I'd
conduit?
I'd say both of them.
And then
I
whoever's,
think I had raised that question myself too. When I emailed, the response was, hey, have we checked with these two? What's their take on it? That's what I would look at. Because what's the point of selecting one right now and,
And then end up, we've already done that.
yeah, based on that.
yeah. So I know I've explained it in depth to Castroville State Bank. I have not explained it in depth to Security State Bank. Do you know whether she understands the issue?
I do not know.
Do you want to call her, or you want me to call her?
You can call her. You could probably legally explain it a little
Okay.
more than me.
Okay.
But it seems like they
She's gotta
both,
hang up with us being tax exempt.
I think they both are, because there's language
Because
in
it says
here.
it in Castroville State Bank, same thing.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I think the tax exempt is the least of the
Yes.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It's a benefit
we've
for them.
solved that
It's a
with
long term.
our
The attorney
attorney being willing to write the letter about the tax exempt. This conduit organization is more complicated.
Yeah.
All right, let me call Security State Bank Mary Mangold in the morning, and I'll explain the issue to her. And I'll ask her to call you back. I'll ask Scott Shearhart to call you back and tell you whether or not they're willing to make the loan without the conduit organization.
And I think we should also ask the attorney to go ahead and give you the opinion, I think it was, that he talked about, in order to
Right,
say
Say
that
that
we
we're,
are
write
tax
the letter
exempt.
that we're tax exempt.
Yeah.
Well, he said he'd write the opinion that it was okay for us to borrow the money too, without the conduit. Ask him to include that in the
Okay.
Yeah, well, let's get
Opinion
that
letter.
and send it to both of
Okay.
the banks.
Yes.
And then, see what their responses are, because they may modify more on here than they have.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is another partner in the same firm disagrees with Matthew.
Hey, lawyers make money because they don't agree.
Well, back to the seller finance deal. I mean, if we got them to seller finance it with, tell them we'll give them 10% down, and if we can get the interest rate in line with one of these other banks, if we have enough money in our building fund to go ahead and start the remodel.
Should, to start it, yeah.
What do we have?
Because we
in
have 717.
there? Yeah. So.
Well,
could
we
probably-
need 200,000 for the down
I'm gonna
payment.
step out, I got a call
Well,
from my
well, that's
granddaughter,
what-
she never called.
Okay.
Unless-
Well, that's what he's saying.
No,
If you can
so,
get
I
him
mean,
to
he-
do 10% down.
Yeah, he owns the building already, so.
Okay, we've lost the quorum though.
Oh.
Hold the door.
Do we adjourn till he comes back?
Stock market tanked today. What happened?
Trump accepted the plane. I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
Well, you
At
want me
the
to go call Mary, or do we want to
Africa
call Mary real
president
quick? You know,
Oh, bond yields are jumping.
Too hard to
It says
explain
right there
it.
that's a problem for stocks.
Sorry about that.
that's all right.
Everything's okay.
Okay,
Good.
good.
Okay, Johnny.
So yeah, if he wanted to do the seller finance route and we went with it for like 10% down, I mean, that'd be, what are we paying him on it? Can't remember.
$1 million.
$1,000,000. So 100,000 down. I think we have plenty of money to get our,
The contract is 200,000 down.
right, but it's not talking about seller financing either. So,
That's
I mean, we're
true.
changing
That's
terms,
true.
so we'll,
That's
We
true.
would have to redo that or amend it.
yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
Amend it.
okay.
even if, we probably still have enough money to get most of it done.
And started.
Yeah,
Yeah, but how willing, then you have mechanics and materialman lien issues, and banks don't like coming in underneath when you've started construction, because they don't have and title companies don't like that because they don't have a clear first lien.
yeah.
So I would recommend we might buy the building and not start construction if we think we're going to go back in and,
Till September.
And we ask for the year, but if we get approval September 1st, then we instantly go to the banks and without the liens on it or construction started, and then you get there. But this way, it saves us the 1.5% that's gonna go for that
Conduit.
conduit deal.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of that. I see no problem.
Well, and it may-
Do it for 100,000.
May take it that long to get everything situated before we start the remodel anyways.
So we've
It's gonna
got
take
the
a few months.
plans, we've got an early draft of the plans, we still have to pay the architect to draft full plans, and we have to go out for bid for contractors.
And that's gonna take some time.
It will,
It could be done before September 1st, but
we could wait.
We can drag our
We-
feet
this-
now.
we have the ability and the luxury to know that the seller doesn't get dissatisfied with our poor performance and does something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get the seller to put his terms in writing.
Okay, please.
Okay, I'll talk to Jay. and
Okay.
get him
Tell
to-
them 5 or 10% sounds pretty good down to us.
Okay,
10%.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's such a drastic change, I think we need a motion and to change direction to pursue seller financing. Although we're not really changing a bid at this point, it's just conversation.
Well, so are we gonna do that and go back to these? And
I think so, yes.
I think we should, that way, next time we meet, we have all of our options on the table. and we
get
can
him
figure
to,
something
yeah,
out.
because Jay just called me yesterday about the seller financing thing.
Okay.
And I need to know which one of these is the best deal.
Butch is
because
a
my
pretty
brain
good
hurts.
analyst.
My
Butch
brain
is a
hurts
good
after last
analyst
time I
of
looked
them.
at it.
That's why I said a while ago, we can analyze it. I started doing it, and I got to thinking, well, what if something changes when we say, hey, we're gonna do it without this
Conduit.
conduit? So let's go back to them and ask them to revise it based on not doing a conduit, and that we give them a letter saying, according to our attorney, we don't need it, and according to our attorney, we are tax exempt. And in that way, it clears up some of these issues, and we get a clearer, finite picture of what they're doing.
Can he get the letter to us today or
And we
tomorrow?
can send it back
If I can get a hold of
to,
him.
send that document to.
Back to TXN and give them the
TXN,
same
yeah,
opportunity.
tell them the same thing, to say we don't need it, so anyway.
Okay.
Their attorney's probably gonna say they need it.
Yeah, because I'll say, because we had already told him that our attorney had
But
said.
I like that. Let's send it to them since they responded initially.
That way, everybody, they have a
Yes.
chance to relook at it. We know the interest rate's not gonna change because they didn't do it on the last one, so they can fine tune it and, maybe it'll give us a little bit of rate because I think they do get a real good income tax, IRS benefit for doing nonprofit financing, so.
Okay.
And then, did you Jay's in the loop on Texan?
Yeah, he's talked to Buddy several times.
Okay.
Because he had told me that Buddy was really nervous about the whole deal.
Okay.
Well, if he's nervous about it, he's still gonna be nervous, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we're not farmers. We're,
That's
the
what
money-
surprises me that we're.
Well, and the thing is, I'm gonna say, and the money's coming because
Yeah.
it's not
I
like
mean, they would have to take
there's
a-
no.
tell you, I think
Legislative
I
act to
am
do
in the
away with
farming and
it.
ranching sector that, we're not trying to get operating though to go,
You're right.
do something real risky here.
We just want a building.
I think the issue for the banks is whether the title company will issue a title policy if there's a question about whether we're able to pledge the property to secure the loan.
I mean, I don't care what title company you use, we can go talk to any one of them,
Right.
I wonder if Jefferson Bank would be a venue to look at, because I hear, they were the first that started, of course, with home loans and stuff like that, but I don't know about governmental loans that they make for real estate purposes.
I know one gentleman there, but I don't know, he does loans for one of my clients in the automotive business. And he basically keeps continuing to build automotive repair shops. I could call, ask him. See what he did. I'll do that, but let's just proceed with.
Yes.
Was that a motion? Did we get that?
Well, I don't know. We're not really taking any action. We're still gathering information, so maybe I'll withdraw my comment. Let's go gather more information. We'll get the lawyer to write our letter. Let's get it in our hand.
Lawyer to write the letter on both and address both issues.
Yeah.
And then,
Get it to the 3 lenders that have responded,
Conduit.
along with our seller.
and that should
Conduit
be-
and exempt status, correct?
Right.
And that should be fairly quick, and then just resend this back to each bank and say, hey, look, this is what we've got from attorney, you know, does it change anything in what you've done? So we'd like to, you know, have a clearer picture. Because, you know, I don't know, I guess I read it, but I forgot. What was the lowest interest rate to Castro? I think they had a little higher interest rate on that.
Yes, they were.
+1.
So that would maybe make Security State come down a little bit. And I would actually say, you know,
It says 6.75 during the initial 12-month interest only period.
The banks might not want their terms publicly discussed.
Do you know, how did Kerr County or the county you initially spoke with regards to the layout, how did they acquire their building? Or-
I didn't ask. They probably did a conduit. It sounds like everybody else did a conduit, because I know when we had the
Well, now Matthews
conference-
told us that about half and half.
Okay,
Matthew says not all of them
because I
have
know
done a
Travis had
conduit.
said they did.
Travis did. But Matthew represented to us that not
Well, I
everybody
thought he
has.
said Atascosa did not. Is that what he
I
said?
don't remember which
I can't
ones did
remember
not,
either.
but he has said some did not.
But he also mentioned that, you know, there's nothing in the law book that says that one has to be created.
That's correct. I mean, the statute does not mention financing at all. It gives the appraisal district the authority to purchase and lease real property.
And then there was
It does
no-
not prohibit us from financing either.
And yeah, there's no mechanism in place to enforce it,
True?
you know, to moving forward with it. So I guess it's the conduit people that want to,
Make money.
exactly. And so they're reaching out to, knowing that we're in pursuit of acquiring
Right.
real estate. They're in pursuit of making sure everybody that we reach out to is aware of it.
Okay, anything else on that issue? Do you have anything on your appraiser report?
Other than we're up to 1,799 protests, but of those, 294 are property owners, the rest are agents.
Getting smart.
Everybody's hiring agents.
Yeah. Well, you don't have, well, I'm assuming the terms are usually they don't pay unless they
Unless
save
they
them
get a
some money.
reduction in it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're not gonna have an executive session. Set the date and time of the next meeting. I'm leaving town Monday and I'll be gone until June the 8th.
Well, we're
Y'all can
supposed to
meet
close
without
May
me.
27th, so we'll have to figure something out. I guess extend that if they will again.
No, you can meet without me. You've got 4 people for a
Okay.
quorum.
Who has to officially sign? You?
Yes, we voted on
Y'all
that
voted
at the
me to
last
sign.
meeting. We've given her authority to sign.
If we could get the seller financing worked out, we could proceed with that.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to get a bank deal done by then. No, I mean,
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not gonna be a problem, he's gonna want monthly payments for his interest. Or payments, period.
so as far as the meeting goes, I mean, what, like Tuesday?
That's the day we're supposed to close.
On Tuesday?
The 20, isn't that the 27th?
Oh, yeah. I can do tomorrow, and then I'm out of town.
For how long?
I'll be back Monday,
Monday's
Which is a
Memorial
holiday.
Day, yeah.
How much notice do you have to give for a call meeting?
72 hours,
72 hours.
And when do you leave?
Monday.
I guess you couldn't call this a
Let's see.
special meeting?
No, it's not an emergency meeting.
Okay.
That's a 2-hour notice, but we don't have a fire.
Okay.
But wouldn't it consider, it's only on one item, it's the purchase of the building, it's not regular meeting.
Yeah, it's a regular meeting.
What's today, Wednesday? We can't meet before Tuesday.
Yeah. You can't post it before to meet before Tuesday.
I'm available, it's just, he's not here to come in. Tuesday, if it's Wednesday or Thursday of next week.
He's been pretty available on Wednesdays at 3, if you just wanted to schedule it for exactly a week from today at 3 o'clock.
The 28th.
And then I just have to tell Jay we can't close Tuesday.
I'm sorry.
I said if we were not meeting till Wednesday, I'll just have to tell Jay we can't close Tuesday.
Well, I think we were
see
gonna
how
have
you. You're gonna have to
wait
tell him
anyway.
that. Yeah, you don't have loan documents done.
Yeah, it's gonna be amended, so that's gonna change the whole process.
Unless you pursue seller financing and he comes up with loan
Yeah,
documents
that's
by
our,
Tuesday.
that's our only hope to close within the next probably
At this point in
2
time,
to
that's
3
it.
weeks.
And it's to acquire, because he's gonna blow us off.
What's that?
I said, the seller's gonna blow us off. Yeah, we've waited too long. He said, he's probably gonna be upset with the fact. We tried, no, we didn't encounter this new problem.
Yeah, I mean, seller financing might be our only option right now, unless he wants to extend it for a while, but, which I think he wants to get the deal done.
I'll say he's at the point where he's ready to get it done.
Yeah.
You leave when, tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm out of town Friday to Monday.
I mean, unless we get on the phone with Jay tonight, if we can get some.
I just sent him a text.
Huh?
So I just sent him a text to see if we get some terms.
Get some answers now and then try to have a meeting Friday. I guess can we still have one Friday?
No, we don't have 72 hours
Because
to
today's
post
Wednesday, yeah.
the notice.
Yeah, at this point, that's the earliest we would meet is Tuesday.
I just told him, Davis, we could have made a decision, but now that we have to get that and wait, post it for 72 hours, we need till next week. And probably a little more grace time. But we're definitely interested in financing for terms for 1 year. Any action? No action.
Can we just text the seller?
That's up to you if you think he'll answer you.
I mean, we can recess for 30 minutes if you want to
Yeah.
give him 30 minutes to write a letter.
Does that have to be a letter?
Well, it needs to be in writing if we're going to consider it instead of the other banks. And that would mean we're not going to go back to the lending institution was with a letter from Matthew Tepper.
I think we would do,
Hey, are you?
do both because you're,
Oh, we're in the middle of a appraisal district meeting here.
we're not gonna have balloon payments.
It sounds like our lender can't work it out, Texan, on this deal. Okay. Anyhow,
We need a recess.
did he specify any terms?
So that he will quit recording.
Whatever the bank would do? Okay. Is there any way we can get that in writing? Okay, well, we're here right now. Closing is supposed to be the 27th, is that correct? Which is Tuesday? Yeah. Okay, so you think there's potential just to push it back a little bit? Because now we're under the gun. We don't have enough time to get another meeting posted to where we can get that in front of us and meet and vote on it. So if we can have a little bit more time, I know we keep asking you, but you know we're up against here, so. Yes, we do want to have that to consider, but we need it in writing so we can have it in front of us and vote on it. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Did he say
I don't know if that was
interest?
legal or not, but he said he would do what the bank will do for a year.
But we don't know which bank.
Well,
Do we pick the?
yeah, exactly.
That's the one that turned
Tell him
out.
this was well, and Texan was.
And they realize that the 27th is not going to happen. So I mean, they're willing to work with us in that regard. But he is going to work on getting the terms on paper and in front of us. So I mean, if y'all want to set the next meeting for we can set the next meeting for the 27th, even earlier in the day if you want. I don't care. Or you're not gonna be here, right?
No.
What works for y'all?
I'm available on those days. I'm not going out of town
Okay.
Tuesday, he said.
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Next week, yes. I'm
I'll
available.
check again, but
I'd have to find
In the
out from Chip.
afternoon.
I have a
if
10
he
o'clock
is.
on Tuesday, but that's it.
You can do
Okay.
it at 3 o'clock if you want.
So,
I thought you were gonna be out of town all next week.
no, I'm just out of town till Monday.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
So Tuesday at 3 o'clock,
That'll work.
that's the 27th.
Yeah. We'll get it bought and we'll figure out how to get it done.
Yes.
You see all that gray?
Shoot.
Okay. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'll third it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's 3:34.
So I'm still getting the letter from Matthew?
Yes, we
Okay.
need the letter from Matt.
And
And you're gonna inquire of the banks.
Yeah, still need to talk to other banks.
the other two banks about,
We need to send a letter from Matthew to all four, the three banks and the seller.
We need to let him know right away.
Chip, so, yeah,
Because it's 3 to quorum or 4?
four.
yes. Melissa can't vote, but she counts towards the quorum. So we have to have a majority of 6.
So if he can't come, we can ask Melissa to come.
At 3 o'clock she can't.
Oh, that's right, 3 o'clock.
Because she has to pick her daughter up at 3:15.
So if he can't come, then move it to 4 and she can come at 4.
You're You're gonna let us know that, right?
Yes.
Minutes written up real quick, can you proofread them before
Yeah, yeah.
before
Or you can
leave?
send them to me tomorrow. I'm here tomorrow and Friday. I'm not leaving till Monday.
I'll get them done.
Yeah.
Short meeting. Shouldn't be much.
Yeah, if I told my wife I'm going out of town this weekend because I had to stay for an MCAT meeting, she would be tendering my resignation for me.
Since you get paid so much.
Thank you for getting that lab stuff or
Sure.
eco lab.
If you have any questions, you can ask Cindy. She can answer your questions better.
She loves to talk eco lab.
So you're gonna email them to me? Or you want me to wait?
No, I'll
You'll email
I'll
them
come
to me.
tomorrow and I'll email
See,
them.
Mr. Gone?
I'm better off at my computer.
Happy
Oh, yeah.
Memorial Day.
You too.
Thanks, you
It
too.
won't be here today.
Okay,
Say,
perfect.
first thing in the morning.
Perfect.
Well,
Okay. Thank you.
have a good trip.
Thank you. St. Louis and Kentucky,
I've
and
got
we're
to clean my
driving.
desk and,
hold on.
you know,
My
yeah,
son's-
all that stuff.
My husband's son's getting married, and in Illinois, and then my mother's going with